back on.
And we're back on. And I got a special guest today. Now, this guy was a cornerback for several teams. He lasted 12-plus years. And listen to the guys he's played for, the coaches. You got Bill Walsh. You got Shanahan. You got Don Shula. He's played with Montana, Marino, Elway. He played for Glanville. And the thing that really caught my eye about this guy is I loved him watching this guy play back in the day. But I used to always watch all these NFL shows, and they would talk about the best trash talkers. And this guy and Tim Harris off the Green Bay Packers would always win. But I got my boy T-Back, Tim McKyer. You there, Tim?
I am here. What's going on?
What's up, buddy? Hey, we're so excited to talk to you tonight, man, with everything you've done. And I mean, this guy's got 3 rings. Who else is a better guy to pick his mind on football? What I wanted to start off and talk about receivers, Tim. You good with that?
I'm good, man. What's going on with him?
Now, Jerry Rice, what made him so great?
What made Jerry Rice so great? Well, I don't know where to begin, but I think the guy is by far one of the hardest working receivers I've ever seen in my life.
I believe it. Oof. Well,
you throw in his natural ability. He has a lot of ability, and he has a work ethic and a mentality that's why he's the best receiver to ever play the game.
No.
So I think his work ethic is superior to any receiver I've ever played against, and that's what makes him the greatest.
Yeah, well, he talks about it too, about his work ethic and how he learned it from his father. I think it was in Mississippi. He was catching bricks as a kid, man.
Yeah, he was
catching those bricks working. Daddy was working them, man. That's what made him
did not drop one.
Yeah. Now, out of all the teams you played for, I mean, the answer to this is probably going to be one of the Super Bowl teams. But what was your favorite team that you played for? Like, what squad?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the 49ers.
Yeah, I couldn't blame you.
I mean, we had guys that could play. I mean, and you notice on that defense, we had a lot of people that you didn't know about. You didn't hear about. I mean, Ronnie Lott, okay.
Don Griffin.
I'm just saying. As far as a name or any kind of notoriety.
No, you're right. You're right. Not a whole lot of big names.
But yet we got rings on our fingers because it didn't matter about the names or this, that, the other. It's about guys going out there making plays, and we had a bunch of guys, including myself, who didn't come in with all the fanfare and the glitz, but got it done, and that's why we got rings on our fingers.
No, I know, and you got 3 of them, man. How many guys could say? I mean, just your resume and the guys that you were around and played with and played for. We always have a debate on the best quarterback ever. Of course, you didn't play with Brady and Manning. I personally don't think either one of them are the best. Who do you think? Because I mean, you were right there with Joe Cool.
Hey, Joe Montana, bar none.
Yeah, clutch, huh? Just Joe Cool. He was clutch. I hear you.
Joe Montana, he has 4 rings. The guy gets it done in the clutch. I don't care. Tom Brady, getting close.
Ah, Tim, you're killing me.
but hey, Joe Cool.
Joe Cool. Now, when you was playing with the Falcons, I mean, you had you and Dion on both sides of the field. I'm sure you guys was just getting it, yapping.
Well, I think that yap is kind of overrated, and I would much rather be known as one of the best corners that ever played a game instead of someone that talks trash.
Well, your resume, like I said, I mean, you got 3 rings.
I would put my stats and my cornerback play against any corner that's in the hall and any corner playing now, and I guarantee you, they can't help but be impressed with what I've done on the football field as far as, how to play the position.
33.
And, we talk trash.
You got the numbers.
In the NFL.
No, I agree. I've always thought that myself. When you came over to Miami from San Fran, man, I was so excited, because we needed that. I mean, that defense you guys had when you had Cox and Oliver, Miami was soft and on defense. You know that. I mean, the 49ers beat them in the Super Bowl. They'd score a lot of points. They might score 40 points, but they're going to give up 50. So we needed defense.
Exactly.
We needed someone that could cover. We brought you in.
Miami, the cornerback position in Miami was at an all-time low. I mean, they weren't.
Yep.
When I looked at Atlanta, I mean, in Miami, back in 1990, I think they were like 8-8 the year before, 79 that year.
Yeah, you went 12-4.
I mean, they were struggling.
You're right. They went 12-4. I love J.B. Brown, man. You know, one of your former teammates. He was drafted in the 12th round. He lasted as long as he did. And I remember you and him, you know, on the corners, and you guys did a good job. Everyone likes to say Marino never had a defense, but I disagree. I think the Dolphins had a great defense. I think it was their running game that kept them from succeeding, you know. The defense.
What hurt us in 1990 was when we played Buffalo in that divisional playoff game. And Oliver Dottie wanted to play.
I call him
Lewis Oliver was a hell of a safety. But Lewis Oliver had no business trying to cover Andre Reed in the slot, man.
No, I remember. They were making jokes.
That is a very good point.
No, they were making jokes about my boy because Lou's my best. I mean, that's my favorite player ever.
Lewis had no business covering.
No, he did. He got ate up bad in the snow. No, I remember the game vividly. He got ate up.
I went to Oliver Dottie and I said, look, Ollie.
Yeah.
We need to just pack it in, play Copa and give it to him in pieces. Don't give it to him in chunks.
Yeah.
He looked at me and said, I'm coaching this defense. I said, well, we're going to get our ass whipped.
Well, I think that Buffalo team's the best team to never win a Super Bowl. What's your take on that?
Man, Buffalo, I mean, whatever. I mean, they had good football teams, but anytime you the second one at the dance, hey, whatever. But that's a hell of an accomplishment to go 4 years straight. I'll give them that. But to not win one? Really?
Yeah, I know, man. And the thing is, as a kid, I hated them because they were so good. They was knocking us out of the playoffs and stuff. But now as an adult, I see them and I respect them because I know what good team. I mean, they were real good. They just had our number. But then you moved on, and I'm not gonna lie, Tim. When you went to Atlanta, I was on that too legit to quit bandwagon. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, I seen MC Hammer on the sidelines. You had you in prime, Andre Rison. I mean, I was like, yeah, I like this, man, because at that time. Just like Miami, the Falcons, I mean, they were doo-doo for a couple years. Then you guys came in there, and I remember you guys beating the 49ers. And those were great games.
But, yeah, man, I'll tell you, you know. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just telling you guys, when you're playing in that football league and you've been around like I have, and people try to say, you know, I was a journeyman, this, that, the other. But you know what? Everywhere I've been, every team I played for, I came in and made a difference.
Yeah,
and
you made
matter of fact, beat them, especially in Miami.
Yeah, no, you did.
I mean,
you
especially in Miami. Miami didn't have no corners. They were out there getting burnt up like French toast.
Yeah, they was.
And T-Mac shows up, man, we win 12 games, we were 7-1, we were doing HBO specials, man, life was good.
Yeah, no, I remember.
And then Oliver Dottie tried to put your boy Lewis Oliver on Andre Reed.
Yeah,
man, and that was not a good idea.
No, it wasn't. Big Lou, I love him, bless his heart, but he's not a guy he's not a coverage safety. He's that big boy that comes down and lays the lumber or you don't want to get him back there. You know, it's not like he's Ed Reed or Earl Thomas, a guy that can cover. But speaking of guys that can cover, best corner of all time, who are you picking?
Best corner of all time. I mean, oh, no.
Well, no, I forget he said that.
Yeah,
don't even mention none of these modern-day corners. We got to go back to
You're not going to say Richard Sherman,
back to the Night Train Lane.
Oh, Night Train.
Yeah.
And the Bobby Worley.
Yeah, what about your boy on the Raiders? Willie Brown?
Lester Hayes, Willie Brown, Mike Haynes.
Mike Haynes, yeah, they were all ballers, man. The Raiders had a lot of good corners. Terry McDaniel was another one. He was your era. McDaniel was. They had Charles Woodson.
No.
Which one?
No,
Which guy?
No Terry McDaniel. You got the Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield and Cleveland.
Oh, they're the studs, yeah, dog pound.
Didn't you hear about Albert? Remember Kevin Ross and Albert?
I'm so glad you brought that up, Tim, because I think Albert Lewis is one of the most underrated ever. That guy was good.
Overrated, big time.
Yeah, and he could block. Remember, he blocked punts and kicks. But Kevin Ross on the other side, the Rock, yeah, those Deron Cherry at safety was nice too. That secondary was strong.
Yeah, they had a pretty good secondary. Hey, but you guys remember before that playoff game when I mentioned that Warren Moon had ate them boys up for 500
Yeah. No, you're right. I remember that. Moon lit him up.
How the heck they gonna be pissed at me when I just mentioned the fact they had a bad game and I just brought it up?
It's all good, man. I remember that game though, man. He ate them up, like you said, 500-something yards. They actually, in the Pro Set football cards, they actually had a picture of that game.
Yeah.
Remember that? We would play, trade cards back in the day, Tim. And they had that card with the game you're talking about.
Just so you know, Tim, I still got your Falcons card, man.
Exactly. Man, and Orlando is your boy?
Yeah, hey. That guy he is like a video thesaurus. You know what I mean? Like all these guys that I grew up watching, like yourself. He's got footage of you guys. He's talking to everybody. He has a lot of your footage.
That dude brought up some memories of me. I was like, ooh, I forgot I did that.
The glory days. I seen you today. I was watching where you made a pick against Seattle, and then you pitched it back to Prime, and Prime took it to the house.
Oh yeah,
that's where it's at. Now,
see, I wasn't hating on Prime Time. Prime Time was hating on me.
Well, I thought that was you guys are worried about hating on
T-Mac. Here he is. He understands. He gets all the publicity, all the hype. I mean, come on. Why don't you try to help your boy T-Mac? Yeah, bring your boy up.
Bring your boy up. See, I always thought about you, man. When I thought about you, man, I thought about the rings. That's what I thought of. I thought about the rings. I thought about the picks. I thought about you coming to Miami. That's what I thought. And to be honest with you, man, most football fans that I talk to, because I'm a geek with it, and so is my squad, we all think of you. When we think of you, we don't think journeyman. We don't think, did you?
No.
I didn't think journeyman. I thought a guy that gambled. He would gamble, make picks, make plays, was brash.
I did take my share of chances, but you know what? I got beat. But a lot of people get beat on big plays.
You can't be a corner and not get beat. That's part of the game.
You don't get beat.
Every corner got beat.
I made a whole lot of plays.
Yeah. No, I seen Yancey Thinking get behind primetime for a touchdown, so everybody gets beat. Now, what receiver do you think was real underrated? A guy that, you don't think gets enough love, that when you played him, he was kind of tough. He might have had a problem with it.
You talking about what wide receiver you said?
Yeah.
What wide receiver didn't get enough for good? John Taylor.
Oh, on the other side of Jerry. Very fast, small school guy, too. Speaking of that,
Delaware State. I mean, he came from a small school, small conference, just like I did.
Yeah. I don't even think is your school even still there?
They don't have football, but it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. They didn't have football. That's what I meant. Now, what about Charles Haley?
Football.
Charles
Haley is another guy. Charles Haley is another guy.
James Madison.
Very underrated,
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
A lot of people think so, but, because his personality wasn't.
Well, he
wasn't the most.
Antics.
Yeah, he's a scary guy. I never want to piss that cat off.
But he was a pretty good football player.
Definitely. Now,
no doubt.
What about the corners today? Who's the best one? Who do you look at and say that kid's nice?
Please don't say Sherman.
Well, Darrell Reeves is probably one of the better corners in the modern game, because he does some things well. Really, I've never really had any film to watch these guys. I definitely don't think Richard Sherman is.
Thank you.
I like that kid.
Don't think he.
I like Peterson and I like Hayden.
I'm going Joe Hayden, man. I think Hayden's the best there is right now.
I think it's Peterson.
I don't ever see. It's hard to see these guys y'all talking about because they ain't winning no games.
Well, yeah, they on some sorry teams. Ain't no doubt about that.
Well, not just that. The rule change.
Hayden is stuck in Cleveland.
It's the rule change, man.
These guys out here, man, I'm telling you, man, I'm 51 and can cover better than most of these cats out here.
Oh, man.
No, I believe it. Now, what do you think about Jerry Glanville, man? How fun was he to coach for? Because I ain't going to lie, I like that dude's swagger. I think he's hilarious.
I love it. Anybody that's outside of the norm, people try to act crazy about. yada, yada, yada.
Makes you want to cheer for him.
Hey, you know what, man? They paid me to knock balls down and intercept pass. That's what I'm in this NFL for. Not because I'm the best looking, nice looking, none of that. Because I am the best corner that they can find. And they're not going to find many guys walking around here that can do it like me or better than me. So, that's job security. And it didn't matter where I went.
No,
I went around 7 different teams. But everywhere I went, I balled. I made a difference and I made an impact.
No, you did.
Boom.
You did.
Made an impact in Carolina when you went there.
Yeah, didn't you make the
96-yard kick return against the 49ers?
Oh
first
yeah.
one
I
in
remember
history,
the
right?
game.
In
96
Panthers history?
yards.
Oh yeah. In 1995, the first time the Carolina Panthers ever played the defending Super Bowl champion 49ers in their backyard. I take 197 yards.
Who threw it? Was it Young, Bono?
It was Gerback.
Oh, Elvis.
Elvis.
You got Elvis. Now,
Yeah.
Hey, now be honest now, Tim. What quarterback that when you guys were getting ready to play a team and you guys know you had to play him, you were licking your chops all excited because you knew you was going to get you one?
Oh, you mean quarterback?
Quarterback.
Yeah. Which quarterback did you face that you were excited to face?
Man, I didn't give a rat's behind about no quarterback.
He played as a quarterback. Yeah.
I never got caught up into the quarterback. I got caught up into that wide receiver because if you in position, you gonna make a play. If you out of position, your grandmama can throw the pass and complete. It never mattered to me whether it was Dan Marino.
I think
Some of those guys.
that way.
Yeah.
You get all the hype. You hear all the guys, Dan Marino, we got Dan McKyer. I don't give a flip. All I care about is how close am I going to be to Mark Jackson? What are his tendencies? How much speed he got? How close am I going to be in watching him on film?
Yeah,
Because if
the
I'm
three
in
amigos,
position,
Mark Jackson.
I don't care who's throwing the ball. I'm going to make a play on it.
Now, growing up, what besides hard work, because we all know you got to work hard to make the NFL, but what do you think was your best asset? What helped you get to become a pro? What set you apart?
Well, the best answer I can give you that, and you think it's funny, Tech, I was hungry. I was starving.
There you go. Yeah, no, that's a great answer.
Hey, bro, mama single parent, mama doing the best she can, man. Football was like, my escape, man. If I can just, work my butt off and do some things right, get at the position that's hard that most people can't do, which is corner. Don't get in the wide receiver line. That's a long line.
That's right.
Get in that cornerback line. So I got in the cornerback line. I mastered that skill.
Yeah, you got to be
I'm telling you.
That's the toughest mental, of any position in football, man. You got to be mentally
be one
tough
of the
at
hardest
corner,
positions,
man. You got to be. You're out there on the island by yourself. You got to have confidence to be a corner.
Man, I'm not just saying it because I played a position. Man, to play a corner, man, you got to be a man. You have to be Superman. You have to have this S on your chest every time you line up on that football field because you can have a great game. You can be playing really, really good. And then on one play, somebody get behind you. You get burnt. All the people going to remember that when you got hurt.
Yeah, no, you're right, man.
That's all. And everybody see it. I can't hide. Mistakes are visible. So you have to be on lock, mentally focused from the time the whistle blows to the time the whistle ends.
Now, what about when we bring up the Buccaneers? What comes to your mind when you think about Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Besides right now them being horrible and the Falcons spanking them, but what do you think about when you think of Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
They have a great field to go play on. Woo!
Raymond James?
I love going to the big sombrero.
Yeah, old school Tampa. That's where we grew up in, man. I've been to that. As a matter of fact,
man, that is some great grass, man.
I watched you play. I watched you play there.
You don't even mind somebody knocking your rear end out there.
Yeah, the first football game I ever went to in my life was the 49ers and the Bucks, and it was in Tampa. You was there. I don't know if you remember.
Was it 1986?
Yeah, you guys won. The 49ers won, but I seen your boy Jerry Rice caught a touchdown. Ricky Reynolds, cornerback on the Bucks. I think he was damn good, man, but he got to pick that game. But no, I remember seeing you, man. That's what I mean. I followed your entire career, even in Detroit.
Right. Well, Tampa Bay, I think that's when I played my first NFL game, the first one that counted. It was at Tampa Bay, September 1986, and I got an interception in the game. Had a decent game too.
Yeah.
And I didn't get hurt.
So in '86, that would have probably been against Steve Young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Steve Young, I think, was the quarterback. I might would say DeBerg was the quarterback.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah.
Steve DeBerg that year too. Yeah.
Now tell me, he was a great backup quarterback. Now tell me, because me and my
Right.
boys, this is one of our conversations. I think Vinny Testaverde would have been a good quarterback if he wouldn't have went to Tampa. If he would have went to, say he went to Dallas with Jimmy Johnson and the playmaker. Do you think Vinny, I mean, because he did have a good career at the end, he had good numbers. But do you think if he would have went somewhere else besides the Yucks, that he could have been a pretty, like a Pro Bowler?
It's hard to tell, man. You just don't ever know. All I know is I was very fortunate to be drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. And instead of, the Detroit Lions, Cleveland, I was very, very fortunate to go to an organization that had a culture of winning. They were a championship team. They were a bunch of great players.
The owner, Barlow, I mean, he'll spend that money. It was like a little mafia, like a dynasty, I remember DeBartolo, he actually has a school here in Tampa where we're at, him and Derek Brooks. And, I mean, DeBartolo is all over Tampa. So,
now I was just very fortunate to be drafted by a real good organization and a bunch of solid pro bowl players, and Rice, Montana, Lott, Craig, and I mean, it was just a very, very fortunate pick of the draw for me.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you went to a team that already won Super Bowl. Bill Walsh, was he a guy that would get fired up, or was he like the Tony Dungy type, even keel?
No, he's the more intellectual type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The more soft-spoken intellectual. I mean, but, there was no doubt who was in charge.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have to do all the yelling and the hollering and all the antics on stuff, but you knew who was in charge. You knew who would be able to dictate your career. It was Bill Walsh, and what he said went. That's just how it was. So, without all the...
Now, what coach was there that you wanted, you're like, man, I wish I would have got to play for him. He looked fun to play for, Is there any coach?
I'll tell y'all the coach that I was totally disappointed in, and that was y'all boy, Don Shula.
I know, you told me earlier. You
hear so much about this guy. You hear so much, Don Shula. And when I got there, I was like, I looked at one of my teammates, Scooter Magruder. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, Scooter Magruder.
And I say, Scooter, is this the great Don Shula? I mean, he just runs his mouth and everything. No, really have no insight. And I'm just like, is this the great Don Shula? I was disappointed.
What about the great Dan Marino?
Producer.
The great Dan Marino. I have mixed feelings about Dan. Dan and I, you need to talk to him. I have no problem with Dan. Dan got mad at me when I pissed the Kansas City Chiefs off, and they all started running like some pussies. Oops, excuse my French. I wasn't supposed to say that.
Yeah, you good. Damn right up.
Because when I told them, so what the Chiefs, man, they all got in the new one. That's Tim McKyer problem. He talks too much. That's his problem now. He's like, hold up, Dan. I know y'all scared. Y'all don't want to win no Super Bowl ring. I know y'all ain't got the heart or the kahunas to do that. But I did not do nothing but point out a bad game that the Chiefs secondary had. I said Dan Marino ought to, if Warren Moon could hit him for 550, Dan Marino ought to get him for 650.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
And I gave you that vote of confidence, and y'all don't, and even Mark Clayton, I couldn't believe it. Well, I don't know why he's making a man he don't play against. Oh, my goodness.
Hey.
Really? Somebody needs to break out the tampons and pass them out.
Hey, are you trying to tell me Jonathan Martin played with you back in the day, too?
Oh.
I'm just... What?
Hey, what do you think about Jonathan Martin, Richie Incognito? That's some girl shit right there, isn't it, T-Mac? Just say girls.
Hey, whatever, man. Those dudes, it's all good, man. Hey, they did what they had to do. I just think it's kind of 55. I mean, we didn't have that kind of 55 stuff going on when I played, so I can't even relate.
Oh, I'm sure, man. You have Brian Cox.
And how big is that dude? How big is he? 6'6", 300-something pounds. You gonna let somebody punk you?
That's right. That's my take too. I agree with you. Now, what do you think
If
about?
I'm 6'6", and I weigh 350 pounds, I wish somebody would come to.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a rumble in the jungle.
Hey, did you? Were you in the game when Brian Cox and the Bengals got into it?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember?
I don't know that.
Now, how hard was Brian Cox?
This is a demonstration.
Y'all got to remember, I don't remember a whole lot of stuff, man. I'm 51. When I played in the NFL, they were not taking us out of games for stingers and dings.
Well, I tell you what,
I had
man.
to play with dings with my head spinning, seeing stars.
I tell you what, I got a guys in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta. They're called 4 Home Field Advantage. They got their own show, just like we do. They're all over Georgia. They're all over YouTube, Ustream, you name it. But when they found out that you was coming on, my boy Antoine was he was real excited. He's like, oh, man, he played with Prime. He was here in Atlanta, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to get at you, man. I'm going to send you a number. Anytime you want to call them and talk some sports with them, they'll put you on. And like I said, no one, honestly, man, when we think about you, journeyman wasn't, that's not what we thought, man. A journeyman to me is someone like Ryan McNeil, you know, a guy that played everywhere, but you were an all-pro, man. You made Pro Bowls and you won rings, so, I mean, that's not
those bombs would never vote me in the Pro Bowl. You know, the word is, you know, nobody like you, Tim. I mean, we know you can play. You're a baller, but nobody likes you. I'm like, since when that's supposed to get you in the Pro Bowl? I thought it was your skill, your talent.
Yeah, no. No,
you know,
right.
no one knew. In my third year, my first 3 years in the National Football League, I had 15 picks.
Yeah. And
my first 3 years, I was on my way, but you know, my career got railroaded. Folks didn't want to give me the publicity and the just due that I deserved. They want to talk about my mouth instead of my skills and my talent. No one knew that the year we won that Super Bowl 23, I led the team in picks that year with the great Ronnie Lott.
Yeah. And that guy, man, he was sick. Were you in the game when he had to cut his finger off?
I didn't go to no Pro Bowls and badly made a couple of All-Pro teams. But it should have been consensus.
Now, hey, when Ronnie Lott cut his finger off in a game, were you in that game?
No, I wasn't there. That was before. I think that was before my time, I think.
A Ustream producer.
Now, Duper,
he did that the year before I got there, I think.
What about your boy Duper, man?
No. I was there, Yeah, I saw him pull it. Man, I was like, man, this dude done lost his mind.
Yeah, so you seen it. Yeah. I heard about that. I was wondering if it was true or not. But I tell you what,
it's true, man. It's true. I mean, that dude pulled it off, man, and went back out there. I was like, oh!
But I tell you what, T-Mac, we're going to let you go, man. We're going to keep going on to other segments. But look, I'm going to stay in contact with you. You're a good interview, man, because you didn't hold back, you know. You told us what you thought. And a lot of guys we talk to, sometimes they like to, you know,
sugarcoat it.
Sugarcoat and softball. We like it. We love the real, man. We love the real. And just watching your personality on the field, I knew it would be that way.
Did you expect anything different from an old cornerback who's 51 years old now?
Oh, no, we remember you.
Now.
We remember you, man. We remember you. But we're going to go to a break.
Man, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we're going to get up with you, T-Mac. We're going to go to a break. We're going to come back. And dun, 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 dun.
Demonstration.
It's going to be Mr. Wright's rant.